training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners.
Welcome to Training Partners, where two fitness professionals bring you strong takes held loosely. I'm Weezy Shoemaker, and I'm joined, as always, by Justin McClintock. And today, there will be no strong takes, but we will be regaling you with a tale of my trek through the Peruvian wilderness.
Yeah. First of all, welcome back officially
Thank
on
you.
air. If it's
Thank
not
you.
content, it doesn't count. So this is your first official welcome back. I've only welcomed you back in unrecorded and unpublished terms thus far.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah. Doesn't count at all.
Yeah.
But that was our soft plan, and I think we should stick with it, is to kind of like go over Peru. You're back, you're alive.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we know for sure that much is true. And we've been kind of building up to this for a while. Not like it was the main thrust of the podcast, but it's been a thread, and I think we should unpack it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like, hopefully those of you listening to this care not just about what we have to say and the content that we're producing, but hopefully in the year that we've spent with you, you have begun to care about us, some as individuals as well. And if you haven't, then
or
Mom,
there's a whole bunch more episodes, so go listen to one of those.
There's a whole bunch more. I'm really looking forward to this, because if there are quite a few people who have asked me, how did things go? Give me a play-by-play. And I would love to spend the next 6 weeks, like, one-on-one regaling people with the highs and lows of what happened and what I learned and what I might do differently and what I'm so grateful for. And there's just not enough hours in a capitalist day to do that.
Yeah, if only.
So looking forward to being able to send this to people who are like, hey, how did it go? Well, here's 45 minutes of me telling you.
I mean, there's a version of, like, we talked about that when we were percolating on whether or not to do a podcast. Mm-hmm. One of the pros that I brought up, why I used to do the Feel Strong podcast, it kind of came out of me answering the same question 5 times.
Yeah.
And then able to say, when someone asks, should I work out on vacation? I'm like, okay, well, here's my 1-minute answer. But if you want the 20-minute answer, I said a whole thing about this. Could I send that along to you?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, that's great. So this can be the, it was great. This funny thing happened, blah, 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 which you may already have like your robot response of like, this is what I say when someone asks me. But if you want to hear the long version, here you go.
Right. Here's the long version. And, quite a few people, I imagine they wouldn't have reached out to you because it wouldn't be resonant to do that, but had reached out to me to say, like, hey, we know you've been preparing for this for almost a year at this point. Like, we can't wait to hear how it went. Well, here we go.
Let's get into it.
So I have a totally unpredictable amount of, like, play-by-play written down. Like, basically at the end of the day of each day on travel, I sat down and jotted down some notes about like, what happened today and what did I experience. Do you think it makes sense?
That's unpredictable?
I'm being facetious.
Okay. I was like, I absolutely expected this. This is.
I took no notes. We do it live, right?
Yeah.
So I learned something really valuable. Let's just take it from the tippy top. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a fair place to start. I learned something really valuable.
Every episode is someone's first episode. We're going to go over your trip to fill in the blank.
Yeah, my trip to Peru.
Excellent.
Right. If you're looking for, like, actual educational fitness, wellness, nutrition, coaching content, this isn't the episode.
There's like another 50-something behind us, and
choose one of those. If this is your first one that you're landing on, I might recommend listening to some other ones, and then once you've decided we're not insane, coming back to this one.
So from the tippy top.
Or not, from the tippy top, right? I've learned something very valuable about air travel and lounges, which is that if you're wondering, do I have access to that? Surely I have access to that. You don't.
No, you don't. You used to.
You don't.
But now it's an upgrade on an upgrade because everything's so fucking shitty.
Right. So part of the reason that I booked the super expensive lay flat seat that I booked was like, I'm going to have almost 9 hours of layover. like not all at one time, but bopping around. It's like, yeah, won't it be nice to go in and like pop into the lounge and know that I'm going to have a place to sit and know that I'll have plugs, and like at the lounge in Atlanta, there's a shower. Maybe I might decide to take a shower, like
some snacks, some juice, all that stuff.
Right. Totally. I have a platinum Delta Amex business card, and I was on a first class lay flat ticket. And I still look like an absolute fucking goon walking up to that desk and being like, I'd like my entry into the lounge, please. I was like, I'm so sorry, you don't qualify. What?
How is that possible? I've given you so much money.
Like, yeah, so sorry. It's actually this other super special secret credit card, not yours. And like,
we have a terrible lounge that's full and you can't get into because it's full that you have access to on the other side of the airport. But the kind of nice one that's close to you, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You cannot enter here. I was like, how might that be true? Like, I'm flying internationally first class and I have a platinum rewards card. I'm like, yeah, it's the wrong one. It just that really stinks for you. So learned that lesson.
Good times.
And decided instead I could be really grumpy about this, or I could look up on Reddit what is the best restaurant in the terminal that I'm in and go there and get the top recommended dish, which is exactly what I did. It was exceptional. I sat there at the bar for a couple of hours reading my Kindle. World Cup was on. I had a drink. Like, no complaints. Complaints.
Should we take a little time out? I know this wasn't a big part for you, but it was certainly a moment of us talking when you first got to the airport to leave, and there was a tiny little hiccup before you got your ticket and checked in.
That's true. I don't even have that in my notes. That's good memory on you. Yeah, I was the recipient of hot white girl privilege.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time, Blondie.
Big time, Blondie. Because I showed up to check into my flight in Columbus, Ohio, and handed my passport over. And
well, you tried to like check in on the remote thing, right? And it said, please see an agent.
And it was like, please see an agent. I was like, okay, I'll fucking see an agent, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I go up to the desk and slide my passport across. And he doesn't say anything at all. He says, Miss, and slides my passport back over, and his fingers are on the signature line, which is, of course, unsigned. Blank. And he like glances to where the pens are and grins. And I went,
I get it. This guy wants the pen.
Yeah. So yeah, that could have gone a really, really, really different way.
He is allowed to confiscate your passport if it is unsigned.
He's allowed to say, you cannot travel, take my passport. Like, the whole trip would just be kaput at that point because I didn't sign on the dotted line.
Yeah.
So that's that went so well in my favor that the kerfuffle of not being able to like have shitty champagne in a sort of comfortable couch was like, yeah, okay. It's sort of a miracle that I'm even on this trip. At this point,
I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Right.
It's an honor just to be nominated. This is good enough.
I will say that a lay flat seat is worth the hype if you are less than 200 pounds, I'd say, in stature, or like less than maybe 6'2". I was about as cozy as I could be, and I cannot imagine being comfortable even in that situation if I were taller or larger.
Okay. Good to know.
But like, for me, perfect. It's the only time I've ever slept on a plane.
Oh, wow.
Like, highly, highly recommend. I got a continuous 5.5 hours of sleep on a 7-hour flight, like unheard of for me.
That's amazing.
So very, very, very worth the upgrade, speaking for myself. So get to Cusco, which is the airport that I flew into in Peru after a couple of layovers, and got there successfully, got over to the hotel, couldn't check in yet, but they had a pretty nice bag drop situation, and decided I'm just going to kind of like take the day to explore a little bit of Cusco. Made my way to a place called the Plaza de Armas in Cusco. Saw some like llamas just tucked into the back of a plaza. Like you go around the corner like you're going to the bathroom and there's like a green courtyard with llamas in it.
Just llamas hanging out.
Just llamas. Sure. Met up with some new friends for lunch. Like chill, cool, whatever. Decided around 2:00. Hey, our welcome meeting is at 6 and dinner is at 7:30. I think I would really like to take a little snooze.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thought that I had was 49 minutes into the welcome meeting, my roommate, who I have not met yet, tapping me on the shoulder. Hey.
You want to come to dinner?
You missed the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, awesome.
Sweet.
This tracks. My alarm had been continuously going off for 49 minutes.
Oh my goodness. So you were just out.
I was out. I was done. I was toast. That is how I met my roommate.
Yes.
I also had quite a few questions I wanted clarity on. Nope.
Not today.
Not today. Not today. My only complaint that I had about the trip itself was that the group dinner at the end of night 1 didn't start until like 7:30 p.m. and it was almost 3 hours long. And everyone was a fucking zombie by the end. Like,
yeah, that's especially after a travel day like that.
Right.
Like 7:30 is late for dinner for me anyways. But
Yeah.
like on a travel day when people are coming from all over the place,
right.
and going through multiple things, and it's just been hard. Like, can we do a 5:30? Can we just like blue plate special this motherfucker?
Nope. The only time that my eyes really went dull the whole trip at all was when we like walk the 20 minutes to dinner and we walk in, and instead of just being seated, the owner of the restaurant took us through like a 15-minute like, let me orient you to the way we do things here. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're proud of your craft. Yes. Can I sit down and eat food?
I'm sure it's an amazing crafted experience, and if you don't put carbs in my face, I'm going to bite you.
Yeah. But it was delicious. But like, you could tell basically everyone around the table by the end of that was like,
faded.
I have nothing left. Because some people had arrived earlier, but then that meant for most of them, they like did an excursion that day, right? Like they went and they climbed a mountain local to Cusco. Like, you're fucking smoked too.
Yeah. Everyone's toasted. We're at altitude, right? Because Cusco's high. It's not as high as you're going, but it starts high.
Correct. Like in the like 9 to 11s kind of depending.
That is no joke high. That
no
changes
joke.
The way you breathe when you walk and everything.
Right. So day 2, notable thing about most of the hotels in Cusco, they know that you're probably having to get up really early to go trekking. And so hotel breakfast starts at either 4 or 5 a.m.
That's badass. That is specific and badass.
Badass. Yeah. And like no reconstituted eggs here. Like this is the shit. You are eating actual food.
It's like places that cater to like fishermen and stuff like that, where they're like, oh yeah, we've got snacks starting at 3 because you lunatics are going to go hide in a bush starting at 4.
Mm-hmm. So first full day of the actual trip is when the first kind of like Weezism entered the chat, which is that at breakfast, somebody sat down next to my roommate and I and said, I think you guys are in the room next to us. How do you know? She's like, well, you have a very specific laugh. And we heard it, we heard it about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, there it is.
Like, well, you're probably right about that. And so on that day, like, call it our acclimatized day, right? Like, we did stuff, but it was all local enough to Cusco. We had a walking tour of downtown Cusco, including the Plaza of Tears, which I posted about on Instagram. It's so named because in like Incan times, when somebody would betray somebody in power, they did not fuck around with that kind of shit. They would take you and your entire family into this plaza and like tie up your forelimbs to horses and then spook the horses. And so you get like dismembered in public in that way, and your entrails are just like scattered in the plaza. And now
that is the famous, if you've ever heard of someone being drawn and quartered, that's what that's what that is.
We also explored some ruins local to Cusco, an old purification site, an elaborate cave and tunnel system, which is where I learned for the first time as a 35-year-old adult. I do not fuck with caves. I'm not into a cave.
I understand. Caves are a special kind of claustrophobia.
No, it was probably only like a 45-second actual you can't see anything situation, but they said like, yeah, just put a hand here and another hand up here so you don't like run into rocks. We would ask that you keep your phones out or away. We don't want any artificial light in the cave. And just like keep directly behind the person in front of you. And I got about 2 steps into the cave and was like, nope, nope, nope. And I beep, 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 beep.
This is, I don't want to be here. You don't want me in here. I'm out of here. Yeah.
Nope,
Good call.
like it. Don't like it. And had at that point the best meal of my life, which is called lomo sotado. Think of it as like steak cubes, roasted vegetables, and fries on a platter.
Oh, that sounds really solid.
Incredible. And had it with an Inca Cola, which is strongly recommended to me, which is my new obsession. It's technically lemongrass flavored soda, but it tastes like bubble gum.
Interesting. So it's like lemongrass flavored, but an ass bag of sugar.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so that was our acclimatized day. Like it was really pretty tame. Yeah. We did a lot of walking. We also visited a like llama farm, and they did like the weaving on site. And so I decided to get alpaca sweaters from there, because it's like, how do I know that the stuff from the market isn't 100%? I know that this is.
Yeah, I'm watching them do it right there.
Right. And so the next day, the trek actually starts.
So we begin the climb.
So day 3 on the trip, day 1 on the trek, this is where the rubber met the road in a lot of ways. Shit got a little real on this day.
Yeah.
Breakfast at the hotel didn't open until 5 on this day. And 5 is when we needed to be on the bus. And so I already was like a little nervous about this. They did have brown bag breakfast situations, but it was like entirely food. Like there was like a chicken salad sandwich and like a banana and banana bread, and like I can't eat banana bread on a 3-hour bus ride at 5 in the morning. Like I can't do that. So the plan was, we have this bus ride. You are encouraged to rest on the bus, and we will get dropped off where we eat breakfast.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. So there's a breakfast plan.
Great. There is a breakfast plan, right? And that's when we're going to like meet our porters and our chefs and like drop off our duffel bags and then change into whatever we need to change into to like begin our first day of trekking, which was going to be to an alpine lake.
Very civilized.
So entirely not anybody's fault at all, but we arrived to the point at which we should go off and get to like the trailhead where food is waiting for us. And there was some mining going on in the road that we could not get past by bus. And so like we get there and they say, hey, surprise, we have to hike in to breakfast. So then at this point, I, who am a breakfast princess, right? Recall, listeners, Ted Shoemaker makes eggs and a bagel and coffee and sometimes chicken sausages and sometimes cinnamon rolls literally every day. And I am brought this meal on a plate within 45 minutes of being awake daily. I don't deal well with not breakfast, and I've already been awake for 4 hours at that point after a day of travel and a day of existing at altitude, which sea level Columbus is not. And I had a feeling like this is not good for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just do what I can do. And so we hike to where breakfast is going to be, which is about 2 miles, and gradual, like pretty tame uphill, but it's still fucking uphill and I haven't eaten. Like none of us have eaten, right? And had breakfast, felt fine, and then started, like, call it maybe a half mile walk to where the trailhead for the Alpine Lake was. And there's a bathroom there and like call it a little rest stop. Like you can use the bathroom, you can buy some modest supplies, and then you're about to take off on like 3,500 feet of uphill, several hour to this lake.
So like everyone probably stops by this place and does a little reset, clean up, buy an Inca Cola, get on the road.
Sure.
Totally.
And I remember putting my hands on top of my knees and being like, no. And we haven't really known each other at all yet at this point. Right. Like people. I just met these people like 36 hours ago tops. And somebody goes, Weezy, are you okay? And I look up and I said, I'm gonna be sick. And then just like middle of the trail, like just a demon escaping my body. And like people immediately jump to action, like tons of questions, checking my vitals, like yada, 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 yada. And I felt so bad after the fact for one of our guides who I ended up telling him this later. Like, in a very appropriate way, he got in my face and was like asking me questions about what I was experiencing, what I'm feeling, when did I start feeling that way? Like, he's trying to suss out, is this girl in danger?
Yeah.
And I looked up at him and I was like, your questions are making me feel worse. Can you please go away?
Kind of no. I kind of have to keep doing this.
Yeah. I kind of can't, actually.
Yeah. This is my job?
And so, like, I didn't know at this point, like, there are there's always other options of, like, what do we do now? We don't jump to, like, well, guess you got to go back to Cusco and stay there for the whole trip. Like, that's where my brain went and was like, great, fuck. Like, we haven't even started yet. And I'm not feeling well. And I'm confident I'm able to get over this, but not if I hike to this lake and I don't see another option. But the lead guide came up to me and said, hey, there's a couple of people who are not feeling well. You are one of them. You are going to walk to where we are eating lunch. It's about 10 minutes that way, completely flat. You are going to stay there and wait for us on the 3 hours that we're hiking. And then from there, everybody else will hike into where camp is, which is at about 13 and a half feet.
1,000.
Yes. Can you imagine?
That would be a precipitous drop from 10K.
Right. You are going to get to that campsite on horseback. Like, I am not asking you, do you want this?
Right.
I am telling you, this is what you're going to do.
You are officially being managed, and here's the management plan.
Right. Here's the management plan. And at this point, like, they did suss out my blood ox is fine. Like, I'm not experiencing a pounding headache. Like, anything that would read as, oh, this is not a safe situation. Like, yeah, I was feeling like shit, but I'm not in danger.
You're having some altitude travel stuff. You're not having a brain bleed or any of that stuff.
Right. So the part that listeners, particularly Ted Shoemaker, might find really interesting about this is that when I got over to where lunch was, I am a person who really does not like grass. I don't like the way that it feels. I don't like to be in contact with it. It gives me the ick. I laid down on the grass with my backpack as my pillow and slept for the entire 3 hours.
Wow.
Like, this should be feedback of how poorly I was feeling, that I was like, I just literally don't give a single fuck.
You were really on the edge there.
Right. And I started feeling better, like, on the other side of lunch. Lunch didn't really sound good at all, but I started feeling like, okay, I think we've turned a corner here after eating. And then by the time I got to camp on horseback, I was like back to wheeze, which is remarkable.
That's pretty great. Like a 3.5
Pretty
hour
great.
interlude and then
Right.
back to basically 100%.
Right. And I mean like 2 hours on horseback too, right? So call it like 6 hours of hard reset.
Mhm.
And also very intentionally hydrating and electrolytes and like slow drip of food. But I was actually hungry for dinner that night and hungry for breakfast the next morning. I was like, okay, I think this is going to be fine.
You're okay.
Right.
Cool. Plus horse ride.
Right. Plus horse ride. Yeah. That was the thing that I did not know that they were going to be providing, was that we had 3 discretionary emergency mules on top of like all the mules that were portering for us.
Oh, okay.
Because certainly like you can rent a mule or a horse from a local family. Like that's a common thing that is possible to do, but it's like around 100 USD for a day.
Okay.
And initially when they said, we're going to get you a horse, I was like, fuck, now I'm out, 350 soles. They were like, no, we have 3.
Yeah. We have these. We have these around.
Right. We have these.
I mean, that makes sense. They do, like, they're professional guides. They do this. And the intention is that everybody finish and everyone have as good a time as they can. Kicking people out, 1, isn't the point. And 2, I'm sure, like, depending on the person, sets them up for a whole fight they don't feel like having.
Right. Totally.
Refunds and blah, 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 and people losing their minds. So, nothing heroic and nothing that would put anyone in harm's way. But if we can keep this thing trucking forward, we really should. It's worth having.
We really should.
Yeah.
We really should. Yeah. So day 2 on the trek, day 4 on the trip was the day that I was the most nervous about prior to. And then knowing what day 1 looked like for me was like, I don't know, we're just going to find out. Like all the guides were so kind and checking in with me on this morning. Like, hey, how are you feeling? We do have horses that you can ride up if you decide you'd like that. But like, if you're feeling good, let's try. And I was. And the way that they were arranged too, we had 4 guides for our whole group. And at any given point in time, there was a guide with the front group. There were 2 guides floating in the middle. And then there was 1 guide with the very last person.
That's great.
And they were like constantly on walkie talking about us. So day 2 on the trek was the traverse up to the Salcante Pass, which was only about 1.2 miles from our campsite, which was at 13,500. However, 1.2 miles and 1,700 meters of vert.
Wow. And for those who don't know, 1,700 meters is a mile. So you're going, you're traveling a mile, theoretically horizontally, but also a mile straight up.
Right. 1,700 meter vert, 2,400 meter distance.
Wow.
That 1.2 miles took 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I bet.
It is by far the hardest physical accomplishment I have ever done. The last 500 feet or so, I wished for death. Like, I was like, if the mountain opened and just absorbed me into it, like, that'd probably be easier than what I'm about to do. Like, for reference, the tiny group of people, I mostly for this was trekking with 3 and at some points 4 people. One of them ended up taking a horseback about halfway up because she started puking and was like, this is not going to work. Like, I need to just get there and descend. We were going for about the first 90 minutes or so, like about 100 steps and then taking a minute. In that last 1,000 or so, we were going somewhere between like 40 and 20 steps at a time before like needing to take a second. My resting heart rate at that point was over 100. And in like the final climb of it, I started to get a headache. And then I didn't know it, but we were like 2 minutes from the summit and I started feeling nauseous. And my guide was like, you don't know how close we are. Like, we're going to pull out all the stops here. He sprayed some alcohol stuff on my hands and had me inhale. He actually took over and was like, I am not letting you decide when to stop. Like, I'm going to tell us. And got to summit, sat down. One of the people that I was with, like, burst into weeping, like, just totally inconsolable.
Yeah.
And I don't recall this, but the guide was like, "Do you guys want a group picture together?" And I just flat out said, "Nope. Nope.
I am not feeling memorializable right now.
Nope." And so sat there for a little while, and then he said, "Hey, I need you to get up so that I could take a picture of you with the summit sign." I was like, "I don't really need that." And he was like, "You're
Yeah, I got
gonna
a
want it
checklist.
later. You're gonna want it later. Get up.
Let me do the thing for you.
Let me do the thing." Fine. So then take the picture, sit back down.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "How are you feeling?" I was like, "I'm feeling like I just like to sit for a while." And he said, "I hear you. And you're going to continue to feel worse and worse and worse sitting right here. I know that you don't want to, but we are descending now."
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah,
get
this
up.
isn't, I know you're sitting, but this is not a restful place because there's not enough oxygen available.
This is not it. This is not it. And then we went into 9 miles of downhill with a 6,000 meter, or I'm sorry, 6,000 foot change. Yeah. So towards the end of that, like, quads, Achilles, knees, like, everything is like, "What are you doing?
Everything okay?
Are you sure?" But, like, comparably to what we'd just done, like,
Right.
it could not have been easier.
Yeah, it's so much, even whatever, 8
Yeah.
times as long, 7 times as long. Yeah, but I can definitely keep going. And with every
Right.
step, there's more and more oxygen available.
Right. Right. Totally. So at this campground that we camped out on that evening, there was a shower and Wi-Fi, which was really great. I was able to FaceTime the boys after not having seen them for almost 5 days at
Right.
this point. The downside is that by the time I got to the shower, it was 1, out of hot water. 2, it was not draining, like, literally at all. There was, like, a good 2 inches of other people's, like, shower slop.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, I cannot tell you how it happened, but I dropped my pajama pants in the slop water. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
like, wished yet again for death. Like,
That's a tough one.
you've gotta be fucking kidding.
Mm.
The other notable thing that I wrote down here, and I'm gonna just read you this exact sentence. There was this fuck-ass rooster who started doing his thing at 2 a.m. That is the sentence.
This fuck-ass rooster.
So, yeah, that's day 4. Day 4 into 2 a.m. on day 5. Questions so far?
I'm caught up so far. A thing I didn't add, like, I think you've been pretty clear, but these were laid out legs. You knew way ahead of time, at least what the plan was. We're going to start at A and go to B, and start at B and go to C, in these legs along the way. So we're on day 5. What's the plan for day 5?
The plan for day 5 is that it was supposed to be, like, between 9.5 and 10.
10
miles. Gradual up and downs, like,
okay.
all kind of around the 9,000 foot threshold. So, like, comparably to what we'd been doing, like, I can breathe, it's fine.
Compared to what you were doing, that's harder. That's still, like, I used to work. I did I did the Sundance Film Festival for years, which is in Park City, Utah, and that's at like 9,800 feet or something like that. And it would take a couple of days to acclimatize, and then it was okay.
Yeah.
But it was a couple of days of, like, really sucking wind going up hills and stuff like that. So it's no joke.
Yeah, no joke. No joke. So the plan for this day was going to be, like, a lot of in and out of, like, rural farmland and waterfalls and bridges over waterfalls, and some of them like rope hang bridges. What is that actually called? Yeah, like, very novel and picturesque, and like a lot of distance, and you're still at elevation, but comparably significantly easier.
Right. You're not taking 50 steps and taking a break.
Right.
Yeah.
The big difference from what we expected and what actually happened on this day is that there were some natural disasters that occurred that made the trails we were supposed to take unpassable. And so instead, we unexpectedly did this traverse on their highway.
Sure.
Which is not at all like a highway in the US, right? Like it's dirt, it's one lane, but we had a lot of stop and start and like car.
Right. A bunch of traffic. 40-year-old trucks careening around the corner. You're like, whoa.
Wow. Hey. But like in terms of the track, a pretty like chill day. Like not a lot of vert. It was a long day, but we arrived at where we were camping that evening like 2:30.
Oh.
So tons of time. That was the night that we stayed on a coffee farm. And we had some space to breathe. And we got this incredible tour of the coffee farm, their avocado grove. They also grow yucca. And they, like, this woman, Victoria, who owned this farm, was this incredible person who was creating a network of female entrepreneurs in Peru with, like, the goal of not being a slave to the cocaine trade, right? Like knowing that resources allow you flexibility and allow you to say like, yeah, actually, I don't need to do this thing that you're telling me I need to do. Like, I'm good. I have a partnership with a major hotel chain in Cusco. So like, fuck off. And so it was so cool to hear from her. And she also took us through like the full way that they roast and process coffee. And we got to sample some of it, like just really incredible.
That sounds great.
It was great. I did notice upon arriving to the campground that at this point I had absolutely no clean pants left, which like, I'm not sure how that happened because I packed 7 shirts, but I had no clean pants left. So, and my pajamas were gross.
How many pants did you pack?
I don't want to answer that question.
7 shirts.
7 shirts.
Now, in fairness, I wouldn't pack 7 pairs of pants because I will absolutely rewear pants most of the time. And we're camping and you're carrying a bunch of your own stuff. Every pound matters.
Right.
How many pants did you pack?
I had 2 pairs of leggings, a pair of hiking pants, and 2 pair of shorts. But I determined very quickly that I was not going to be a shorts girly on this trip.
Okay. Because of
chafing and because of bugs.
Sure. Yep.
Like, it's not going to happen. And so both of my leggings and my pajama pants are like a disaster. So I decided to do a shampoo and sink clean of them.
Yeah, totally.
Hung them up in the sun and hope for the best. Oh, actually, that's not true. I did have one more clean pair of leggings. So like changed into those.
Okay.
Washed everything else that I have. Was like, okay, this is going to be great.
But had an afternoon, had an opportunity, had a little bit of downtime. Like, let's do some stuff. Yeah.
Let's do some stuff. So at dinner on this evening is when the people at the table realize that I am not to be trusted with things because I dropped an entire bowl of soup on myself.
Soup.
And then also dropped a piece of cake on the table. And so at this point, they stopped handing me items. They would like just literally go around me and be like
passing over and around you.
Right. Yeah. They were like, Weezy actually can't be trusted.
We're going to plate for her. We're just going to plate for her.
That's true.
There's only so much soup.
That's true. And so then after, I'm feeling like really optimistic about everything that is occurring. Like, we're having a good time. Everything's great. I've washed my clothes. Like, they're going to be dry. Not dry. Went to check on them. Sun had gone down. Still, like, I would say, like 60% wet. So we did a campfire that night, and I, like, literally am holding, like, my wet stuff. Like, please dry. At bedtime, they were still damp, so I hung them up on the clothesline and just hoped for the best.
I mean, what else are you going to do, right?
What else are you going to do? 4:30 a.m. wake up to try to beat the heat. Spoiler, clothes are not dry.
Yeah.
One pair of leggings was dry enough and unsmelly enough, but like still just like a little damp.
But hey, you're the top of the pile. You
The
got
top of the
elected.
pile. Right. You've been chosen.
Yeah.
This is also the point at which I determined that I'd sprung a pretty sick blister on my left foot.
Okay.
Like the ball of left foot, basically like the whole under toe region bubbled up. And at the you're gonna think this is really funny, I think. At the breakfast table, I mentioned it to our tour guide, Fernando, who said that he had special blister care stuff and would help me. And when he came back to the table with it, somebody asked, like, "Where are you going, Weez?" And I said, "It's time for foot stuff with Fernando." And then immediately was like, "What? Okay."
Speaking of female entrepreneurs, I'll be right back.
Women in STEM. So then our trek for that day, we knew, like, we're going to get our first glimpse. This is day 6.
Got it.
We're going to get our first glimpse of Machu Picchu today from the overlook. We had just north of 7 miles total today.
Okay.
But a 3,000-foot climb and then a 3,000-foot drop.
Okay. So that's significant.
Like, it's pretty significant, right?
Yeah.
Like 3.5 miles, 3,000 feet up, and then 3.5 miles, 3,000 feet down. Yeah. The only outrage that we really experienced related to food on the whole trip was that on this day, we ended at about 6,000 feet, which means that it's hot as fuck, right? Like it's like in the 90s and we've been trekking for 8+ hours.
Right.
And they served us soup, and I thought people were going to riot.
Really?
Like, what is happening? What is happening?
Why are we getting hot soup on a miserably hot day after all this exertion?
Right. But then we caught the train from basically like right outside where that lunch spot was. It was a late lunch, like 2:00, call it. Because we started
trekking. There was going to be a train involved. This is a surprise.
Yeah, there's trains. We certainly could have trekked on the Inca Trail into Aguas Calientes itself. That probably would have taken a whole nother day and would have been a relatively boring. Like we would have been hiking like adjacent to train tracks.
I got it. So it sounds like this is what everyone probably does. Like you hike to this point and then just make the jump because it's not.
It depends.
So picturesque or.
Correct.
Yeah.
It depends. There's really like 2 major ways that people will trek through Peru. And one is on the Inca Trail, which is where like you get pictures from the Sun Gate. That's like an Inca Trail site. Or the Salcante Trek, which is shorter but steeper. And so we did that one. The Inca Trail includes a much longer segment like adjacent to tracks if you're doing it proper. Right. So caught the train, went to Aguas Calientes, which is the town like directly underneath Machu Picchu. Okay. Very, very, very touristy. Very nice. We stayed at a very, very nice hotel there and promptly clogged their toilet. It
Did
like
we?
within like the first 5 minutes of being in the room. My roommate called the front desk because she sussed out like this is not a person who can make phone calls. Like, you are correct. And was trying to explain to somebody who was not fully understanding, like, our toilet is clogged. We cannot use it. And so they did send a maintenance man up and he spent maybe like 30 minutes in the bathroom. And
30
then just
minutes?
Yeah. Walked out, didn't say anything at all, left. We peeked in, toilet is still clogged. We went to dinner, and then when we came back, it was fixed. We were like, all right, well, we ruined his day. But it was.
Did you notice, perchance, was it maybe just a brand new toilet? Did they just swap it out while you were gone?
Oh, maybe. I actually don't know
like
that.
Really
they might have done that. Yeah. In our defense, we'd been in the wilderness for 6 days.
Yeah.
And they did not have any "don't flush toilet paper" signs.
Oh, yeah.
And that was her first question, was like, did you flush toilet paper? And like, well, yeah, it doesn't say not to. Like, everywhere else says not to. So we assumed this is different. Like, ugh. So, like,
gotta put signs up for Americans.
Gotta put signs up for Americans. I'm
Yep.
so sorry. We're really stupid. And then we all walked to dinner. And on this night, I decided to go rogue from the standard Peruvian cuisine. And I got a burger and a beer, and it fucking slapped.
I bet it did.
And this was the first, like, proper, hot, normal shower that either of us had had in 6 days.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of an amazing amazing pit stop before, like, to do at the base of Machu Picchu, I guess is what I'm trying to spit out. Like, what a great moment to kind of like reset and recompose and get ready.
Totally. At this point, we'd also like developed a pretty tremendous rapport with our guides.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, like, I'm so glad that we're done trekking now. Like, we're just gonna like get to hop on the bus and go up to Machu Picchu tomorrow. And one of the guides was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, we're not taking a bus.
Right.
And I said, you shut your fucking mouth. That's such a lie. Get out of here.
This guy sounds like my kind of guy.
Right. He starts like cracking up and he's like, ha ha ha, you're right. We are taking the bus. Like, yeah, I know. Don't do that.
These are good jokes.
Day 7 was exploring Machu Picchu itself.
Mm-hmm. How long is the bus ride from, like, what is that?
Maybe 20 minutes.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, easy. And they split our group into 3 subgroups because many of the rooms in Machu Picchu are so small that like a 22-person group would not make for a good experience.
There'd just be no elbow room. You would be able to turn around.
Right.
For people,
something that I was...
unless you're going there, there's people listening right now who don't really know what Machu Picchu is.
That's great because a lot of people don't, including like... So it is...
Including people who have paid to travel there.
Including people who have paid to travel there. And like, spoiler, that's actually something that our guides were very communicative on, is like, we don't know exactly what the purpose of this place was.
Mm-hmm.
We have surmised a lot of things that happened here, but we don't really know why this existed. So Machu Picchu, it is one of the wonders of the world. It is this incredibly advanced, for the time, architected, like, and tucked in basically unseeable mountains, right? Like,
it is way in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And it was found mostly by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there are places of worship there. There are rooms that are clearly architected to be like sacred and royal places, but they also had farming and they had some security. And like, it seems like probably at some point 100-ish people lived there, and they were deeply in tune with nature and the concept of Pachamama, which is like, call it Mother Earth, but greater than that, right?
Okay.
Like the governing deity property that decides what the will of the earth is, right?
The all-controlling, like, Gaia level.
Right. And so what was really interesting about it is that it was just such a marvel that didn't provide a ton of answers.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to experience this incredible place and also walk away still with a ton of questions.
Well, and lets you surmise. It lets you wonder. It lets you come up with your own theories with, like, based on a little or a lot of information, or how much you've known about these things or researched, etc. But the answers just aren't handed to you, which I really, really like stuff like that. But in the same way, if I go to a museum, I don't really want you to tell me what I'm supposed to feel or think or what the painting is about, probably. Like, if there's a title that's supposed to guide me or that kind of thing, but I don't really want to read about how the colors are actually the juxtaposition, and this is the capitalist system, and this is like I know you got to say a lot of stuff to get painting song. That's fine, and it might be true, but I get to take what I take out of this, and that's important.
Right. One of the things that was really interesting to me that the guide shared, that initially my, like, it was capitalism all along sensors went off, was about how many of the artifacts that they've recovered from Machu Picchu and from Incan times are here in the US.
Mhm.
And I immediately was like, we fucking colonizers, like shame, shame. But our tour guide said, and he certainly is not like the voice of Peru, so don't quote him on this, but he said he was actually very happy that they were not in Peru because there is quite a bit of corruption there related to artifacts
I
and
imagine.
like making duplicates and then selling them as if they're the originals and that sort of thing. And so he's like, like in a perfect world, would I like it if our country could ethically possess them? Like, absolutely. But I don't trust that the people in power here would not like bastardize that. So I'm
it should be in
glad
the
that
National
they're
Museum. However,
right.
if we do that, these are the things that are more likely to happen. So we would actually like it somewhere a little bit safer.
Right.
Yeah.
Our tour guide also on this point, like, this was the only time that we really had him privately, not in front of the other tour guides. And he was one of the subordinates, like he was not the guy in charge. And we coaxed out of him a story about when he was once giving a private tour to a wealthy American couple and they sort of tricked him into taking mushrooms. And then he tricked another of his tour guides into also taking mushrooms and like met up with him at like a trail stop and handed him this piece of chocolate that has mushrooms in it. And then several hours later had a phone call that was just, what is happening to me?
What have you done to me? You have to be really, really cool with someone for that to be okay. Because I would not be okay if somebody did that to me.
Right.
I would be mad.
The tour guide friend that he drugged is named Walter. And so I just lost my absolute shit at that. I was like, my oldest son is named Walter. This is so funny. And tour guide said, when he turns 18, you tell him this story. I'm like, okay.
Not before then. Certainly not when he's 9.
Not before then. So why I share that particular story is that I laughed so hard at this story that a Machu Picchu ranger heard my laugh and said, that is very good, and high-fived me. And these are like the guys with whistles, like, get off that ledge, you can't sit there, don't do gymnastics, like super serious park ranger. That is very good.
Someone is having an excellent time. Oh, that's the guy who slips mushrooms to people. I understand. And so that was the better part of day 7, which was our last day before traveling back to the US. Okay.
For most people, some people were staying a little longer, did some like classic shopping at the marketplace. And then we had a train back to where we were going to grab a bus to go back to Cusco, right? So like train, then bus. Unfortunately, on the train, there was a mechanical issue and we ended up being stuck on the train, like stand still in the middle of nowhere, Peru, for almost 2 full hours.
Ooh.
And so keep in mind, like, this train car has like 40 some people in it. We're a group of like 25 and we are slap happy. Like, we are the dumbest fucking dumb white American women.
Just being loud and laughing and people are like, just trying to
Right. And we were in really good spirits, laughing really, really hard and like telling stories. And there's one in particular that I told that I don't particularly want to tell on the podcast about a bodily function that I did when I thought nobody was listening. And that was not true.
Sure.
They
were like, you must be in the room next door to me.
And train car like erupts with laughter. And then this man at the back of the train car stands up and screams at us in French. Like,
French.
Nobody understood him, of course, because like nobody spoke French. And the train car coordinator walked up to our group and said he would like it if you were a little quieter because his wife is not feeling well. And somebody, it might have actually been Alyssa, was like, what do you actually say?
He didn't say that.
I don't think he said that. And so we did tone it down a little, but like there were some people on the trip who were then like antagonizing this guy because there are other ways to do that, right? Like,
plus he's French, so
right, like, oh, because you're not having a good time, we all also need to be miserable. Pass. So we did see him at the like disembark station and gave him one of these.
Oh my God.
And he gave us the like blows a kiss and then flicks us off situation.
Like, I mean, all of that tracks.
Yeah, sure. The downside of this unraveling the way that it did meant that we were absolutely going to miss our goodbye dinner in Cusco.
Oh, sure.
But the upside of it is that I was elected to run the Bluetooth on the van back to Cusco. And we had just a real time.
Did you now?
I did. Yes. Went like I took it upon myself to like shock and awe and surprise at every new song. Like, how could the pendulum swing this far from what we were just listening to?
How have we gotten here?
How have we gotten here? Get back to our hotel. My roommate and I got an appetizer and drinks room service.
Solid.
And spent some time like getting our stuff put together for the next morning because we had early flights, like 8:30, but because they're international, like probably best to get there like 6:30 at the latest.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is what I was arguing for. I was arguing for why can't we leave the hotel at 6:15? It's fine. And then the two other people that were on the same flight were like, we want to be walking out of the hotel at 5:45. Heck,
yeah,
fine.
I'm with them.
Well, it ended up being excellent, as you know. Maybe you don't remember, because when I got to the airport the next morning,
of course I remember this,
and went to go check in, I was quite literally not on my first flight.
Yeah, like there wasn't a record of you having a seat.
They were like, yeah, we see the booking. Like you did that. You booked it to start from here, but you were not assigned a ticket on this first leg. Like your first leg of travel is from Lima. And there is no way to drive to Lima from Cusco. Like because of the mountains, there's just literally no feasible way to do it.
You can't get there from here.
You can't. And so I spent 2 full hours up at that check-in desk with them resolving it. And it ended up being totally fine, but it was so egregiously stressful in the moment.
It got close because we I don't know if you remember, we were texting back and forth kind of a lot as this was happening. I was trying to like give you some tips and tricks and I don't know, try this. Well, make sure you do this and stand over here, do this kind of thing. And it worked, but it was close.
Right. The line that you dropped, which was very effective and finally got me some more information after I'd been there for almost 90 minutes. And like, they just said, hey, just stand off to the side. Like, this person is on hold with Peru's version of the FSA. Like, walked up to the counter and she's clearly like, I don't want to see that you're there. Just, hi, what do you suggest I do here? And she said, I suggest you just keep waiting. Okay. I have been right here waiting for 90 minutes. My flight boards in 20 minutes. I have to get through security. I am expected at an internationally broadcast event tonight. What do you suggest I do? And that's when she gave me a crumb of context, which was there is this other flight that we can get you on. You won't be able to check bags for it. I have already cleared it with the gate agents that is possible. Like they will have space for all of your stuff, yada, 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 blah, 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 whatever. Okay, great. Let's do that. What's the holdup? I'm legally not allowed to do that until I've been on hold with the FSA for 2 full hours.
Jesus Christ.
Like I cannot do that for you. I'm like, what a tremendous waste of resources.
Yeah, it's built in that people are just going to be on hold for 2 hours.
Right.
Cool.
But it did get solved. I'm very grateful that I ate breakfast before heading to the airport because would have been in basically the same situation as when I arrived. If I had said, oh, I'm going to be at the gate 2 hours early, I'll just eat there. It's fine. And then flew to San Jose to run scoring at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, and did some CrossFit stuff.
Did some CrossFit stuff.
That is quite the journey. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's the trek.
Yeah, it's really good.
I want to say 49 miles of trekking and like about 15,000 cumulative vertical feet. And I have not started back actually intentionally training yet, which I think is really wise to just take a beat. But my body feels great. It felt appropriately wrecked after a couple of very, very difficult days, but it has responded exactly as I would have hoped and expected on the back end. So
it's kind of amazing because you were, I mean, you know, but like, and you shared
I was
here,
nervous.
like you were pretty nervous going into it.
I was really nervous.
Yeah. And I imagine that first little morning sickness only intensified that because you hadn't really gotten into it yet and we're already having some stuff fall apart.
Right. I was like, well, tomorrow's actually the hardest day. And
this isn't the hard day.
This isn't the hard day. Right. I know we talked about this offline, but like, I'm so proud that I was able to step outside of my ego and allow support. Because there were several other people on the trip who had a little bit of ego and who were offered support and turned it down, and that ended up biting them in the ass. And they said after the fact, like, I really wish I would have done that. I think the rest of the trip would have been a different experience for me.
Yes.
I am so grateful that I got my ego out of the way. And truly, the artwork that we have hanging here and Sustained, like, it hit me like a ton of bricks when I was leaving the day before traveling. That it's a poster board that says, we don't conquer the mountain, we only conquer ourselves, right? Yep. Like, the mountain doesn't need you to beat it, but your ego probably does. So I'm very, very proud of myself that I was able to accept help when I needed it and not be like, well, if I can't do it exactly this way, like, it's not worth doing. Like, what? How can I possibly exist in this career and preach what I preach if when the rubber meets the road, that's the way that I'm going to behave?
Exactly. And we talk about it all the time. Like, plan A is awesome. Like, we go in with plan A and it's got all the bells and whistles and it's totally cool. And the first moment you step through the door or the lights turn on or the music starts or the first rep hits or you have that conversation with that person, everything changes.
Everything.
You're like, oh, we're already on to plan A sub 2. Cool. All right.
Right.
We're moving a little bit or we're moving a lot or making some adjustments. And if you don't do that, if you don't build the flexibility into it, you will shatter. Like, those are the options.
Right. Totally. So, yeah, grateful that I did it. Grateful that it's over. I would trek again. I would want to be better prepared for it.
Sure. I mean, you know, you haven't done anything quite like that before.
No, never.
Right.
Yeah. Never. Yeah.
Well, I would like to say here in a public forum that I am both impressed and extremely proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It was
well done.
It was a feat. I'm glad I did it, and it's been fun to watch my sons like try to understand what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the hugs were unmatched, especially from the small one who does not like physical affection of any kind.
After like 2 weeks away.
Right.
Yeah.
Big hug. I'm like, okay, well, you do like me. You just don't like to be touched.
Which,
got it.
You know, fair enough.
That's fair. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got.
Excellent. I love it. Would you like to do a segment?
Do you have a segment?
I have a segment.
Oh, God. What is it?
I have a relevant segment.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
You've been traveling.
Yes.
You did months and months of preparation.
Yes.
You traveled, you conquered Peru.
Yes.
Let's see what you learned. This is a quiz all about Peru. Weezy, when was Machu Picchu, quote unquote, discovered?
Oh, it was like, I think it was like 1912-ish.
I have 1911.
Yeah.
And it was, which blew my mind that it was that recently. Yeah. And then you look at, I know you know this, but I'm going to tell people, you look into it and locals didn't know it was there for a long time. There's a little bit of, from what I found, a little bit of evidence of some like local
knew about it and was
not
like
architecture. What's the word I'm going for? Who dig stuff up?
Archaeologists.
Local archaeologists. But even that was like 1908. Like it was all very close. And then a famous person or a person who got famous for discovering it, but discovered Machu Picchu and made it big. But even locals were like, "There's what in the what? What do you mean? What do you mean? There's this staggering wonder of the world,
right?
That's accessible,
Directly,
but not very accessible." Yeah, because it's truly in the middle of nowhere. Like no one ever went there because there was never any reason to go there.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep score. I'm giving that to you because you were within a year. That was very impressive.
Thank you.
I think they might get harder. We'll see. Question number 2. The worldwide alpaca population is approximately 10 million. Of that 10 million, how many live in Peru?
Oh, I bet it's like 8.5.
It's 3.5, but it's very significant. I mean, 35% of all alpacas in the world are in Peru.
We saw them everywhere.
It sounds like iguanas in the Caribbean. Like they're just like, you wake up and just like brush them off your sandals before you can go walking in the morning. Question number 3. In Peru, there's a New Year's tradition. Everyone gives each other a particular object for good luck. What is that object?
I haven't the foggiest. I don't know. Is it a soul lace?
It is yellow underwear. Yellow underwear is given friends and family on New Year's.
Nope.
That's just a thing.
Not on the list.
The weather phenomenon, known as El Nino, perhaps you've heard of this, comes around every once in a while. It was actually named in and around Peru by fishermen in like the 1600s. And it was named kind of because of Peru. Why did they name this weather phenomenon El Nino?
Well, that means the boy.
It does.
So I'm gathering there's some like just little shit of a toddler.
Accurate.
That they
I'm gonna
named
say
it for.
Famous little shit.
I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that it's named after a whirlwind of a little boy.
That little boy was the baby Jesus. The original name of the weather phenomenon was El Nino de Navidad. It's because it hits Peru right around Christmas. It tends to hit Peru,
of course,
kind of mid-December.
Of course.
Peru is the home of the world's tallest flowering plant. What's that plant?
I don't know what it's called, but I saw several of them.
It is the eucalyptus.
Yes, we were in a eucalyptus forest.
There it is.
I didn't know really good.
That was the tallest flowering plant. It's huge.
It was huge. They were the size of redwoods.
They invented a snack in Peru. I mean, they invented a bunch of snacks in Peru, but one that we know very well. There's I believe this is it's a language. I don't know where the language is based, so I'm going to take a swing at it. But it's a Quechua word, and the word is
Quechua.
Charqui. Quechua word. The word is charqui. Describes a very well-known modern-day snack.
Is it jerky?
It is jerky. They invented jerky in Peru.
Yeah.
Last question. What happened? Technically, officially, it no longer happens anymore, but it happened for a very long time. I'll say what happened at the annual La Festival de Gastronómico de Gato.
Did they eat a cat?
They barbecued 100 cats at this annual festival every year in honor of Spanish settlers who were forced to eat cats when they first arrived in Peru because things were going so badly.
Yes, that tracks.
That's one way to honor things.
That's one way to honor things.
100 cats every year. Well, you got 2 out of 7, so I think this means you didn't actually go to Peru.
Okay.
All right.
I think technically I got close to 3.
Okay, sure. 2.5. 2.5 out of 7.
Sure. It's still a failing grade, but it's less
24% or something. Yeah.
Less failing. 2.5 out of 7 is like 30 something.
Yeah, it's actually like 36%, but it's fine.
But I got the first one and you were really impressed.
You did get the first one. I think you should go back to Peru and we'll do this quiz again next week.
Okay, I will get right on that. Is the flight on you?
Put it on the trading partners card. It'll be fun. Training Partners Media will cover this one.
Right. Sure. With all of our like residuals from selling feet pics.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's really keeping the boat afloat.
Right.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah. Continuing, I'm glad that, you know, no matter where I go, unintentional foot stuff jokes.
It keeps coming up.
Just keeps coming back.
There's a lot to be said for consistency.
Right. Yes. I am, in fact, the same person everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
The poor people sleeping in the room next to me.
Yep.
What is she possibly laughing about at 5:45 in the morning? Could be anything.
Could be almost anything.
Team, this has been something. Fuck.
You almost had the dismount. So close.
I do not remember the outro. I have to actually look up in my notes how I sign off. I don't know. Team, this has been Training Partners. I'm Weezy Shoemaker. That's Justin McClintock. We will see you next time.
Later, gang.
Oh my God.
It's time for the Training Partners. Here come your Training Partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your Training Partners. We're ready to laugh and learn with our new best friend surprise. It's time for the Training Partners. Here come your Training Partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your Training Partners. We're ready to shine.